Picture this. You're a young woman in the mid-1800s near Verona, Italy. Your family goes to church, though you're not particularly devout, but something inside of you just kind of wants to be. One day, you hear about a group of women who only work to help those in need, and you take that as a sign to seek them out. Joining other young women, you all work together to comfort the sick, help the poor, and take care of orphans. Leading everything is just this absolutely inspiring woman. But one day you learn that she's suffering from a very painful tumor. You'd have never known how much pain she was in while she helped people. Helping was just her medicine. You look up to her, hoping that one day you can be just as strong. That one day you can be just like Vincenza Maria Poloni. Howdy, y'all, and welcome back to another episode of the Sanctified Podcast, the show where we explore the stories of various saints throughout history and learn about what they did and how we came to recognize them as saints today. Today, we're going to explore the life of Saint Vincenza Maria Poloni, founder of the Sisters of Divine Mercy. Vincenza Maria Poloni was born in 1802 in Verona, Italy. Her birth name was actually Luigia Poloni, and shortly after her birth, she was baptized as Maria Luigia. She was the youngest of 12 children, and all of her siblings were brothers. But sadly, as was all too common at the time, many of them died young. A total of 9 of her siblings died while they were infants and young children. Her parents, Gaetano and Margherita Piedego, were very dedicated to their faith, and they were very generous in charitable giving. Her father was actually part of a volunteer group, and Maria kind of followed in his footsteps. She was always helping someone, whether it be a stranger or somebody in her family. She helped raise her parents' grandchildren, helped her mother around the house, took care of her constantly sick in-law, and helped her brother Apollonio with the management of agricultural plants in the town. And if she wasn't doing this type of work with her family, she was at church or helping somebody else who needed help with just anything. She helped even more after her father passed away in 1822. In 1836, when she was just about 32 years old, a cholera epidemic broke out, and she worked ceaselessly, helping those who were sick, not letting her own health stop her from helping. She didn't care if she got sick. She needed to help other people. During all of this, she met Charles Stebe, a priest, and he became her teacher in faith. And Stebe saw a very strong commitment in Maria to her faith, and he nurtured it and helped it grow. Despite her family's wishes, she moved into a small abode, just like a couple of rooms, a small apartment, really. There were 3 other women, so 4 women in total in this little apartment, and they moved in November 2nd, 1840, and that was kind of the foundation of her group. But her family didn't think it was like a bad idea, per se, for her to live alone with these other women. They just felt that they needed her help more at home. They'd kind of become pretty reliant on her, not necessarily realizing that she had to help other people too. She had to take care of herself, and definitely they didn't realize that God had greater plans for Maria to help others. The goal of the small congregation was pretty simple. Just spread the love of Jesus Christ, because Jesus will raise all those who know him into heaven. One of the best ways to become closer to Jesus is through charitable acts. And Maria was very encouraging to others to perform charitable acts and just be generous in giving to those who need. She placed charity as a top priority in life, and she meant it. Maria's mission was to tend to anyone she could who was sick and offer them as much help as possible. And she did the same for orphans. She wanted to comfort them and share with them the love of Christ, telling them everything will be okay once we're all with God. She also gave to the poor very regularly. Her life was literally to be a servant to God and therefore a servant to his people. The group quickly grew, and others joined Maria and her sisters. Together, they bought a house and they got started as an actual congregation with civil and canonical authorizations. On September 10th, 1848, Maria and the other woman took vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. At the same time, she took the name Vincenza Maria. Soon, the Sorelle della Misericordia Institute of Verona was founded, or the Sisters of Divine Mercy. And sorry if I mispronounced that. Italian is not my strong suit. At the Institute's core was the same values that Maria held: help the sick, help the elderly, and help the orphans. Maria was constantly practicing what she preached and encouraging others to do the same. She told her sisters, "The poor are our masters. Let us love them and serve them as we would serve Jesus Christ himself." The reputation for the Institute spread, and it really wasn't long before Maria started to receive letters and requests for sisters to found a satellite campus for her institute in other cities around other countries. The very first ones were in Colonna Veneta, Montagnana, Zevio, Este, and Montalis, all in Italy. Unfortunately, a tumor developed and it began to slow Maria's daily acts of generosity. What she once could do in a couple of hours took almost a full day to complete. But she offered her sufferings up to heaven as a penance for her sisters, and she found comfort in comparing her suffering to the suffering Christ endured. She did have a surgery completed to try and alleviate the discomfort and pain, but it really didn't help. Feeling that she just didn't have that much time left, she received the Sacrament of the Sick from Charles Stieb, and she succumbed to her tumor November 11th, 1855. She was then buried in the municipal cemetery of Verona in a communal grave with other sisters of her congregation. Fast forward to 1939, Maria's first recorded miracle occurred. A sister from the Sisters of Divine Mercy had been suffering from uterine fibroma, ovarian cysts, and a malignant breast tumor. And this had been going on for the past couple of years. She had multiple surgeries to try to help, but just nothing proved to be a permanent fix. Actually, it kind of seemed as though the opposite was happening. She felt worse after each surgery. Her sisters prayed for her healing, and they tried praying for intercessions from the founder of their congregation. After praying for a little while and not having gone to any doctors because they never seemed to help anyways, the sister went to sleep one night, tears forming in her eyes just because of the discomfort that she had, and not really knowing if she would get better or when it would be her time. But when she woke up the next morning, she was totally healed. Everything was just gone. It wasn't a slow recovery. It was just instant. And that was something else. That was quickly proven to be a miracle. The second miracle occurred in 2013, so just over a decade ago. On December 16th, a woman from the Diocese of Santa Maria de Los Angeles in Chile had surgery. Specifically, she had laparoscopic cholecystectomy. And yes, I had to check that out because I had no clue what that was. Basically, she had to have her gallbladder removed. However, there were complications that came up during surgery, and they discovered internal bleeding that needed immediate open surgery. Surgeons found an aortic laceration, like a cut on her heart, and it was pretty severe. Though they had been successful, she experienced a multitude of complications after that, and all of them were life-threatening. There were 9 different complications. I would be freaked out at just one. If I went through surgery and there was a complication, I'd be like, I'm so glad it worked out. One complication is scary enough. Could you imagine 9? I'm not going to list all 9 because they're all medical terms, and I can't pronounce half of what they were. I don't want to subject you to me butchering these medical terms. Given all the complications, the woman's outlook was very bleak. Doctors really did not expect her to survive the next few days. But her grandson prayed for Vincenza Maria Poloni's intercession and his grandmother's recovery. Others joined him in prayer, and he even went to the Sisters of Divine Mercy house in Quilico, Chile for more help. Despite what doctors expected, the woman recovered, and she was discharged January 31st, 2014. She never showed signs of further complications after that, and she really just went back to her normal life, as though that didn't really happen. It's just an absolutely insane healing story, healing miracle, once again. And long after Vincenza Maria Poloni's death, the congregation that she began has continued to grow, and it's found strong support around the world. Her cause for beatification only began in 1990 on March 12th, so fairly recently, compared to when she died at least. She was declared venerable on April 28th, 2006 as a servant of God. She was then beatified September 21st, 2008 by Cardinal Angelo Amato, and she was actually just canonized about a month ago, a little bit more, October 19th, 2025. Her feast day is November 11th. If you have any more questions, please let me know, and I'll do my best to answer them. So, what are your thoughts on Saint Vincenza Maria Poloni? What about her conviction to help others despite her own suffering? I hope you found her story inspiring, and I look forward to learning your thoughts about her. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to support the channel, you can subscribe, download the episode, like, comment, share with your friends, or send me a suggestion on a saint that I can check out by emailing me at sanctifiedpodcast@proton.me. You can find the show on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Podbean, and more. Just search for The Sanctified Podcast, and I should have some episodes uploaded. Take care, and have a wonderful day.